You're still watching the City of Lagos TV show. Welcome to Education Lagos. Education is power. But when you talk about mass education in a cosmopolitan city like Lagos with a massive, huge population, then you must take a look at the critical agency that is responsible for mass education in Lagos. And of course, today we are going to be speaking with the director, Lagos State Government Agency for Mass Education, Mrs. Kalesowo Oluwakemi Yetunde. Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you.
What is the mandate, vision, and mission statement of this agency? And of course, take us through its functions and let's share the very remarkable achievements of the agency.
When we look at the mandate of Agency for Mass Education, it's simply to eradicate illiteracy in Lagos State. But that might be difficult to achieve. And so we say, okay, bring illiteracy to its barest minimum in the city of Lagos. And then when you look at our vision, it's to provide access to literacy, education, and redress the challenges of illiteracy in Lagos State as a smart city. And then, of course, the mission is to provide mass education for self-opportunities, especially functional literacy and life skills for youths and adults through multi-pronged approaches for self-actualization and sustainability. When you look at the vision and you look at the mission, you will see that we have merged three things together. One has to do with literacy, learning how to read and write. The other one has to do with vocational training, and where we teach people skills, various skills. And then the last one also has to do with continuing education. We want to make sure that everyone residing in Lagos State are able to function effectively. And we are lucky we have a governor who is very, very passionate about people living in Lagos State, and is also passionate about education, not just the formal education, but the non-formal education. Now, Agency for Mass Education is basically in charge of non-formal education in the state. And so when you look at the literacy aspect of it, we have right now, and still counting, we have 903 literacy centers. Now, these literacy centers are where we teach adults how to read and write, because don't forget that we have some people among us who never had the opportunity of going to school at the right time. We also have some people among us who went to school but did not finish their basic education. So we have opportunities for them. It's like a second chance opportunity for them to come and learn how to read and write and learn life skills too, free of charge in Lagos State. We now realize that if you learn how to read and write, it's not enough for you to function effectively. We need to empower you. We have vocational training centers. We have three categories of vocational training in Lagos State. We have the formal vocational training, we have the non-formal vocational training, and we have the semi-formal vocational training. You might be an adult who is very old but decides to learn a skill. We encourage you to come on board. And then we also reach out to the out-of-school youths. You know, we have a whole lot of them out there that are unskilled. You know, we encourage them to come on board, come and learn a skill free of charge in Lagos, so that you become economically empowered. When you look at our modus operandi, how do? We reach out to the local government chairman because, you know, they are closer to the grassroots. We also reach out to traditional rulers. So we carry out what we call advocacy visits to them. Explain to them what non-formal education is all about. Explain to them what this initiative that we tagged Ekon Keko, Lagos is learning. You know, we want to kick illiteracy out of Lagos. They need to understand the advantage of people within their domain. I mean, learning how to read and write and learning various skills to be able to operate within their community. I tell you, we have achieved a lot of things. One, when I got on board, we had just 556 literacy centers operating in Lagos State. And so we now thought that, look, it won't capture the number of people who can't read and write in Lagos State. So we need to reduce the illiteracy level in Lagos State. How do we do that? We need to increase the number of literacy centers operating within Lagos State. And when we increase that, we need to engage people that we call facilitators. Right now we have 917 of them. And these literacy centers are spread across Lagos State. Now, these people who teach the adults, you have to have a minimum of NCE. You could be a graduate in any field, not necessarily education. And then we will train you in the andragogical method. You know, that is the kind of method we use in teaching adults. Because the way you teach a young person is totally different from the way you teach an adult. And so when we train you in that, because you already have the educational background, you know, the professional background of being a teacher, it's going to be easy for you to train these adults and cope with them. And so we went all out then and we trained a lot of them. And in turn, they now opened the centers. Now, our centers can be within faith-based organizations. That's the churches and the mosques. Our centers could be in the marketplaces. We collaborated with those who call MOMTAM, the Association of Mechanics. So even in mechanic workshops, we have our literacy centers there. And even in schools, after school hours, we also have literacy centers there. So they're spread all over Lagos State. However, they're still not enough, but we're working towards increasing the number of our literacy centers. Because of COVID, you know, there was a lockdown. The adult learners couldn't go to their centers. Learning still needs to take place to go on. So we started literacy by radio, which our parents' body at the national level encouraged us to do. We started with the language of the environment in Yoruba. So there's this program, Moka, that is usually heard on Radio Lagos. And then at a stage, we also felt, look, we also have learners who aren't Yoruba speakers, but you know, could speak a little bit of English and still prefer to be taught at the literacy center in English. So we also did what we call Literacy Empowers. That is also hearing. We also do what we call quiz competition. It's a way of encouraging our adult learners that competition is good. We need to give them that spirit of sportsmanship. So on an annual basis, we carry out what we call adult quiz competition, where we bring our learners on board. We ask them questions based on what they've been taught, and they go home with mouth-watering prizes from Lagos State government. We're looking at establishing more vocational centers come next year, 2022. We have Sabo Vocational Training Center, Surulere Vocational Center, we have Agege Vocational Training Center, and we have Igbo Oluwo Vocational Training Center. Next week, we're going to start the Etunrere Vocational Training Center in Ikorodu. And then we have Rotary Vocational Training Center in Igbogbo. We also have two in Ekpe Division, Kasali Oluwo Vocational Training Center, and we have Odoragunshi Vocational Training Center. And I must tell you that when we established this vocational training center, if you know the crown and goods, in fact, the vocational training centers are not enough to accommodate those who are interested in learning this vocational training. As of last year, we had 6 of them. Now we have 8 of them. Last year, we graduated 703. But right now, as I speak, we have over 2,000 of them in these vocational training centers. Now, don't forget that I told you that we have a lot of people who want to come in. But because of accommodation, you know, there's a particular number that we can accommodate at a given time. So we're actually looking at, right now we're looking at, maybe next year we start the shift 1, that some will come in the morning, some will come in the afternoon or evening, well, afternoon most likely, so that we'll be able to, you know, accommodate more people, and more people will have access to the vocational training center. Now we teach various skills, from makeover to gele tying, fashion designing, hair making, catering, shoe and bag making, telephone repairs, you know, various skills. And we even have digital skills. We train digital skills there too. For vocational training, I am really glad because You know, we have a lot of success stories. Now, in order to allow us function effectively, we partner with National Mass Education Commission, that's at the national level. We call them NMEC. We also partner with SUBEB. We partner with the education districts. We have 6 of them. We also partner with Ministry of Education and various NGOs like the Rotary and even small NGOs. So we've been able to make this great impact thanks to our special advisor on education, Mr. Tokumbo Wahab, who has been very, very supportive.
Is the vision and mission statement of the agency in tandem with the team's agenda of Mr. Governor? And what are your challenges and future prospects?
The aspect of the theme's agenda is education and technology. Now, what are we trying to do in our agency? We're focusing on giving educational opportunities to the masses, especially those at the grassroots level. The major challenge that we have in this agency is the influx of people into Lagos State. You can't stop people from coming into Lagos State. So if you say, oh, we're capturing more people, we're establishing additional vocational training centers, we're establishing additional literacy centers, you still see people, more people coming into Lagos State. Now, I stand to be corrected. Majority of people coming into Lagos State, majority of them are unskilled. We see them on the streets of Lagos selling things. And so we still encourage them. By the end of this month, the contractors will hand over 3 vocational training centers that are being renovated, courtesy Lagos State government. We have the one at Agege, Odoragoshi in Ekpe, and Etunrere Vocational Training Center in Ikorodu. Now, these 3 vocational training centers have just been renovated to meet world-class standard. The only thing is just that it might not be a very mighty building, but then it is a befitting building that is well equipped to encourage more people to come on board. This agency has a lot of prospects in the nearest future. I tell you, this agency should actually be made a ministry. Why? We need to still reach out to all the local governments and LCDAs. Our vision is to have a vocational training center in every local government, in every LCDA, so that we'll reach out to people in this local government. Like I told you, we have just 8 of them. Next year, we're looking at 4 of them. We will get there.
It's been a wonderful time speaking with you, the Director, Lagos State Agency for Mass Education, Mrs. Kale Sonwo Oluwakemi Yetunde. Thank you for coming on the program. But on a final note, what's your message to Lagosians, especially those who are looking for the great opportunity for vocational education?
It's a second chance opportunity. It is free of charge. Now, you can make inquiry at our office. Lagos State Agency for Mass Education is within the Secretariat. And you can also go to our social media outlets, has been scrolled on the television right now, as well as call these phone numbers that are also being scrolled. And I want to believe that you'll be a changed person. What we're doing right now is kind of dividend of democracy, because when you come to these centers, you learn free of charge. You can have it better anywhere. We have various skills we can teach you, we can train you on. We have the 3 months training, we have the 6 months training, and we have the 9 months training. So I encourage you, come on board, learn the skills free of charge. And if you already are skilled, if you already have a job, I'm sure you'll have 1 or 2 people around you who do not have a job, who are not skilled. Encourage them to learn a skill. On a final note, Lagos State Agency for Mass Education is here to empower you and give you a better life. Please come on board. Thank you.
That's it on Education Lagos. The City of Lagos TV show will continue in a moment. We'll be right back.
Lagos.